We now want to bring in the man spearheading the effort to build these sites all across the country, these makeshift hospitals all across the country, Lieutenant General Todd Semonite. General Semonite, thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for your service. Just give everyone a sense right now the scope of the mission you're facing.
So, George, first of all, on behalf of all of us in the Department of Defense, I mean, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people that are affected by this, so many different families, and we're just so committed to be part of this national team to be able to try to mitigate this in any way possible. The scope is immense, and there's really three different aspects of this. There's a shortage of sites or facilities, or that's what we're going to talk about today. Clearly, there's a shortage of supplies, and then there's a potential shortage of staff. So we're trying to work the facility piece, and we're looking right now at around 341 different facilities across all of the United States, very similar to the Javits Center. We've got 8 contracts under gear right now, people in centers constructing facilities, probably about 8,500 beds, and then by the end of the day, we should have another 5 contracts awarded with somewhere around another 4,000 beds. We don't know where this is going to go. This is a state and local decision, but what the Corps wanted to do is to come up with an option, so if we could be able to mitigate this delta in some way, we're able to find a solution that states could employ.
So when you're called in to retrofit a dorm, a hotel, take us inside that. What exactly happens? How do you do it?
So you talked a little bit before coming in about the tent that's out there in Central Park. Think about establishing something on, green grass. That's awful hard. You got to bring electricity in, water, all the utilities. Our concept, and when Governor Cuomo called us about 2 weeks ago, Secretary McCarthy from the Army said, get to New York and find out a solution. Our thought was make it extremely simple. Find an existing facility that already has all the codes, has heat, has water, has IT, has parking lots, and then just put in whatever we can, like a hospital, inside of that. 2 big type of thoughts. One is hotels and dormitories. We're doing a lot of those. The other one is large, big open spaces, field hospitals and convention centers. And then us working side by side with the team, and it is a federal state team, HHS, FEMA. We go in and either put in temporary hospitals, we'll build rooms inside there, but the ability to be able to build out an existing facility. That's like Javits right now. We started out and basically got that a couple of days ahead of time and brought that in with about 2,900 rooms that non-COVID people could be treated in. There's 2 types of facilities. COVID is one kind, and that's a little bit more complicated with the pressure. And then there's non-COVID, very similar to what you're seeing in the comfort ship that's up there now.
How do you stay ahead of the curve? Where do you expect to be next?
The biggest thing probably is modeling, and we're taking a lot of guidance from Vice President task forces. We're looking at some amazing analytics to be able to figure out where do we see the growth of the threat being more than anywhere else, and then where do we see the bed shortage. So I've got a bunch of engineers in a back room who are looking at where do we see us having big shortages 2 or 3 weeks. I've got 43 different commanders and an unbelievable amount of technicians, my civilians, who are talking to governors, mayors, saying, we anticipate you're going to have a shortage. What is your solution? And here's some potential options. So it's the ability to array a standard solution that is vetted at the national level, but then decentralize. And what we've got to do here, George, is we've got to be able to come up with a minimum essential. We don't have time for the perfect solution. We've got to be able to cut to the chase and get this ahead of need.
And General, do you all have everything you need right now?
I think we do. I think the biggest single thing is we've got to be able to make sure that decision makers at local and state levels really have to be able to probably think about what is worst case. And I'd much rather, take the time to convert a facility. And if it's not used in 4 weeks, it's going to be okay. But what the worst thing we want to do is to be able to have, the supply taken care of and the staff taken care of, and yet we have ambulances with nowhere to go. So that's where the Corps is really trying to step up on behalf of FEMA to try to be able to mitigate this amazing delta.
And we know you are on top of it. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time this morning. Thanks, General.
Hey, George, thanks an awful lot for having us on. And our numbers are going to change every single day. So I'd love to have you out on the ground. You got to see what this is like and the passion of this team to be able to step up for America and make things happen.
We will do it. Thank you, General.